Hi guys, it's Ben from First Time Reacts here, and today we'll be doing something different. As you can see, we'll be doing the One Piece pre-timeskip arcs tier list. Well, brace yourselves because I have some spicy opinions and I hope you will share them with me or you will hate me in the comments for that. But without further ado, let's just jump into it. So first off we have Aasta, which is like first proper One Piece arc. It's basically a war arc, right? And it is focused around the dense powder and crocodile wanting to be in power. And we also learn about the Pluton, which is like this big mass destruction weapon, right? And it's a little bit longish. Sometimes I felt like episodes were unnecessary. I felt like pacing was a little bit off. Vivi was a cool character. I wish she joined, actually. I wish she joined the crew. I don't think she had the place, as everybody else has its, duty to fulfill. Like, we have cook, we have musician, we have, like, repair guy, like, shipwright, right? And Vivi? What Vivi would do on the ship? I don't really get that. And there's spell incident, right? Which really bumps down Alabasta a lot to me. I didn't really enjoy Alabasta that much. I wasn't bought by One Piece back then, so I believe C tier would be fitting for the Alabasta. Okay, next off is Amazon Lily. Amazon Lily. So this is the first time we learn about Haki. This is where we meet Boa Hancock, right? This is where the Straw Hats are split. So I was missing Straw Hats quite a lot during this arc. I just wanted to see the dynamic between the crew members, right? And there was only Luffy on the island. Boa had very cool backstory. It serves a purpose of a breach between, like, New World and First Island. A little bit in the New World, right? Fishman Island. So it was fine arc. I really liked it. It was fine. And the art style got better, I believe, on this. So yeah, it was solid arc. I think it deserves B tier. It was a little bit short. And pacing was fine. Yeah, Luffy was a good character as he is usually. So yeah, I think B tier is deserved. Okay, next one is Arlong Park. Oh man, early One Piece. I believe this is first really good One Piece arc. Like this arc, pacing is amazing, every character is amazing, story is amazing. Bro, Nami was there as a first official member, but official, we all know she joined here when she asked for help, right? Back then she was just using us, but bro, this arc, the Arlong Park walk, oh man, first big fight with Arlong, very strong enemy. Yo, and the Fishman power leveling. Usopp got his own fight, which was really cool. All in all, amazing arc. I really love that. And the part when Luffy puts the hat on Nami when she asked him for help. Oh man, I was so close to crying back then. Amazing arc, all in all. Very good pacing, and yeah, it solved the One Piece problem where characters would randomly scream Mugiwara, Mugiwara, Mugiwara for like 10 minutes, so yeah, I appreciate that. This is deserved S tier for me. Okay, next one we have Barati, so Sanji's arc. This arc had the problem that I mentioned before, where characters would scream Mugiwara, then the next scene is different characters screaming Mugiwara, and then some other characters like Zeph and the cooks would scream Mugiwara! So yeah, I think it's a little bit weird because it wastes a lot of time for random characters screaming. The pacing was a little bit weird and it got changed in the live action too, so it was a little weird to watch live action, this arc in particular. But Sanji gets introduced, I think he's cool character. Yeah, we got introduced to this marine, I think his name is Full Body, right? The one with like the iron fist. So he was a little bit useless, like he didn't do much. We got introduced to Don Krieg, which is kind of lame character. He was supposed to be this big fish. He came back from Grand Line, so he's like very experienced, got experienced crew. But all in all, he wasn't that much of a big deal, which shows how our crew was ready for, like small fishes, but they weren't ready for the big fish in the Grand Line, especially Sabody later on. But yeah, this arc, I actually feel like it's okay-ish. I really like the backstory. Oh man, the backstory of Sanji. Yeah, I love that. It was very cool. I believe it was one of the best backstories, really. Like, Nami's backstory is cool, don't get me wrong. It was very emotional. But Sanji's backstory hurts you in this like different way. Like in Nami's way, you're very sad, but in Sanji's way, you're like irritated when you learn the truth that Zeph was starving himself and Sanji was this annoying brat. You just feel like angry, irritated at Sanji that he did that. And this is amazing when the arc does this to you. And actually, some of you said that the backstory was changed from manga. So in the manga, Zeph eats his leg. He doesn't lose it under the water when saving Sanji. So I believe this would impact the backstory even more. All in all, very good arc. One of the better ones in the early story. So yeah, I believe it's deserved A tier. Okay, next one is Davy Back, which is Foxy's arc. The tournament arc in the Long Ring, Long Island, which is very hard to pronounce for some reason. So yeah, I believe this arc is a D tier. Yeah, this is very weak arc. It's very confusing with the anime canon. I believe the manga canon is when we retrieve Choppa, and anime canon is like when Luffy agrees to the second round of the tournament and we lose Robin. Yeah, when we were watching this, it was very confusing. I didn't know what was happening, and it was very boring arc. It had like nothing on stake, really. Like, okay, we lost Choppa, but it was quite obvious that we would win him back. There wasn't like this big threat, like people dying, someone losing something. There wasn't that much on the stake, and the villain was goofy. His crew members were weird. And all in all, the categories of the tournaments weren't that interesting. The only thing that's redeeming factor is like this small backstory of people traveling from one island to another and this grandpa being stuck waiting for people to come back. So it's only redeeming factor for me. And yeah, Foxy's Devil Fruit is quite interesting. Yeah, I think if the stronger character had it, it would be very strong fruit, but on Foxy, not so much. And yeah, this arc was boring, just boring. Okay, and next one is Drum Island, which is Chopper's Island. Here, very good backstory of Chopper, right? It was very sweet how he wanted to heal Hiluluk with the shroom, even though he never knew what would happen. This is a good thing that we get to see why his dream is to become a doctor. Like, not only because of the influence of Hiluluk, but also how he failed to heal him. Yeah, all in all, very sweet backstory. One thing that's bad in this arc is a villain. Wapol is not that good of a villain. His fruit is fine, but himself as a character, not that interesting. But there were very good moments like Luffy's climb, his hands being frostbite, and you know, he still kept on going, so it was very cool moment. Like Dalton fighting for, you know, basically his land, right? Everything. Even Kureha backstory was fine, like she was this grumpy old hag, right? So yeah, this is all a very good arc. The pacing. Pacing was fine, yeah, but I lacked like the real villain. The stakes were there, like Wapol was this very bad king, right? And it was basically an island of the doctors and he exiled them. He basically caught them. So yeah, the stakes were there, but I didn't feel like we had challenge. Like the only challenge was getting to Wapol, and once we got there, I believe that Luffy would defeat him easily. Like I believed that strongly. And yeah, the flag moment, how Luffy saved the flag and showed to Chopper, I got your flag. Oh man, this was very epic. So I think it's deserved A. Next in the list is Anus Lob B. Oh man, I'm not gonna even explain myself. This is S tier. This is actually arc that has a lot of stakes. Like Robin is on the stake. We start the war with world government, bro. Epic moments left and right. Usopp speech. Usopp shooting flag. Bro, a lot of Usopp actually when I think about that. Frankie joins. Officially, right? Robin joins. Bro, this arc is packed. And Rob Lucy fight, bro. Gear 2. Whoa, man, I almost forgot about Gear 2. The villain was a little bit lame because the main villain was supposed to be Spandam, but not really, right? The CP9 is the real villain here. So yeah, the villain, I take it back. Villain is really cool. Everyone got this fight. Yeah, and Sanji got his power up as well. I think it's the first time he uses the Diablo Jambe. So yeah, and Nami got power up. We got to see Monster Point. Oh man, this arc is just filled with amazing things and I'm all for it. Pacing, maybe there were some issues with the pacing where we were still going there, but once we got to the castle, let's call it castle, and everyone got their enemy, bro, this arc just kept on giving. We got to see not only Gear 2, but also Gear 3, bro. How epic is that? No one expected that. A lot of cool fruits also, a lot of cool techniques, very strong arc, and I want to live. This is an S tier moment. How do you put any slot lower than S tier? It's just amazing. Next on the list is Impel Down, which is a cool arc. We got to see Bone Clay again, which is the GOAT. I doubted him actually. When I first saw Bone Clay, I was flaming him with my friend. I was saying he's like useless, weird, and stuff like this. But bro, after this arc, I'm a Bone Clay lover, as you guys. His sacrifice and everything in this arc actually. There was this really tense fight with Magellan which put a lot on the line because Luffy's life was in danger and Bone Clay single-handedly carried this arc. Not only the sacrifice, but he also saved Luffy. We got introduced to Ivankov, which is a weird character. Yeah, but the revolutionaries a little bit get revealed there, right? Because of the Ivan, because of the Caesar guy, and yeah, here we try to save Ace and we meet Jinbei, which is one of my favorite characters, really. I wish he joins in the future. I believe he does from the openings, right? But yeah, this arc, some problems with pacing, like not every episode was interesting. Some characters were like not that useful. I believe her name was Sadie, the BDSM lady, and her pets. Like this was very confusing. She said they are like awakened zones or something like this, but they were very weak. At first, they were just throwing people's left and right, and then they didn't do much. And there was this like guy, I forgot his name, but he was wearing a Farah outfit, and yeah, he didn't do that much either. He was very weak character, but I believe he was just a comedic relief, so it was very welcome in such a heavy arc. But yeah, the theme of this arc, very heavy, saving Ace, Ace blaming himself that Luffy came for him. So yeah, it was very cool arc. Maybe not the best, but it was very good nonetheless, so I believe it deserves an A tier. Next one is Jaya, and I might surprise you with this ranking, but for me, Jaya is an S tier. Actually, I love the vibe of this island. This island is the first island where I felt I'm watching a pirate show. I'm actually watching a pirate show. Outlaws left and right, people fighting in the bars, people stealing from each other. This is basically a pirate island. And on top of that, we get this amazing speech from Blackbeard, right? People's dreams have no end, which is very cool. We got introduced to the mystery, like, he's someone different, it's not him. So I'm not really sure what's that supposed to mean, but Luffy and Zoro felt that, so it has to be something like this. And Noland's backstory. I think at least the beginning, because we get introduced to the story, right? The children's book. So it was very interesting to see if we get to see more of Nolan's. But his grandson, I forgot his name, the one that had the small chestnut on his head. So yeah, it was very cool arc. All in all, I really love the premise. It served the purpose of a little bit like a bridge between Skypia and the previous arc. So it was fine, yeah, really. I liked the preparations. I even liked when we were catching the bird. Everything was really fine, so to me, this is S tier arc. Next up, we have Little Garden, which is fine arc, really. I would put it in the middle, really, because premise is not that interesting to me. Like, two giants fighting is fine premise because it's something unique. We didn't see that before. But island itself, it's like Jurassic Park Island, so to me it's not that interesting. I didn't feel like we were threatened that much. Mr. Free and his cake candle thing that slowly was turning us into wax, I didn't feel like it was a real threat, to be honest. Like, Zoro was pretty dramatic about that he wanted to cut his legs, but I believed we had the time. And other than that, we had the small girl that had the technique. And techniques are something that bothers me in One Piece. Like, Sanji's technique makes sense. He's like fighting with his legs, right? Even the fire is making sense, like he's spinning it so fast. But techniques like Django, techniques like this little girl that paints, it feels weird since shouldn't it be devil fruit? Like, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't give them a devil fruit. It would work perfectly and it wouldn't disturb the story. So I would love for them to have a devil fruits. And let's get back to the little garden thing. It introduces us to the numbers, like the organization from Baroque works, like Mista 3 is the first number we take down, I believe. Yeah, I don't remember if we took down another number. Mm, maybe in the Whiskey Peak we took down some Mrs. like Mrs. Wednesday and stuff like this. Oh, we took down Igaram. Wasn't he a number? Maybe, I don't really remember, but Mr. Free is first bigger number, right? And we got introduced to the crocodile as well, which is fine introduction. Yeah, he was very mysterious at first, but this arc, not my type of deal. It was good, but it wasn't the best, so I believe the middle is great place for it. Okay, Lockdown. Lockdown is kind of an informative arc, right? Not much of a real plot going on in there. Like, there's no villain, we're not fighting. It's basically like a little bit of history, a little bit of backstory to Gold Roger, basically, yeah? His execution platform and how Luffy was captured. This is a little bit weird how Buggy managed to capture Luffy. I think it shouldn't ever happen. But we get introduced to the Dragon too, Alvida with her new powers, so some things happen in this arc. Very cool arc. Maybe not that much fighting going on, which a little bit worries me, but it was a fine arc all in all. I think it deserves like A or B. Hmm, how much do I value the backstory of Gold Roger? I think it's A, yeah, I think it's A. So this was very cool arc, something different and breath of fresh air. And yeah, I think we get introduced to Daddy the parent here. I think he's not a canon character though, is he? I think it was like a filler, probably, or not really, because Usopp got the goggles, right, and he was using them, so it wasn't a filler. Yeah, anyways, I think it deserves A tier. Boy oh boy, next one is Marineford, which should be, I think it's an... I'm contemplating whether I should put it S tier on A tier, and I believe... Is it on par with, like, Ennis Lobby and Arlong Park? No, I think it's A tier. No, it's S tier. Oh, what am I talking about? It's S tier. Okay, a lot happened this arc. There were some slight issues, like pacing issues. I believe we had like 3 episodes in a row of Luffy running, one-shotting some random marines, but a lot happened in this arc, like it left big impact on the world of One Piece. We get to see Whitebeard full power. I cried 2 times during this arc, like the Donut Ace was the first time and then Whitebeard dying. I was actually destroyed, I was crying like a little baby on this arc, which is surprising. I didn't expect to cry on the war arc. One issue I have is like, why did Ace get taunted? I know it's like his character trait that he's like a short fuse type of character, right? Short temper. But we saved him. It was so disappointing to see him go like this. And one thing that irritated me also was Jinbei trying to sacrifice himself as well. He was ready to give his life for Ace and Luffy, which I hated. I love Jinbei and I want him to live long life. But yeah, all in all, this arc, fights were really good. Characters in here was really fine. There was even this one guy with the small monkey with a gun on his shoulder, which was really cute to me. Even the betrayal, the guy that pierced Whitebeard, he was really fine too. Yeah, very good written character. He wasn't doing this for nothing, right? Akainu, very bad character. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a good character, good written, but he's a badass. He's like this villain you're supposed to hate, but he's so badass at the same time because if you're looking from the side of the Marines, right, they are basically the good guys, right? So you should be satisfied with him, but you hate him for doing what he did, right? And I believe he will do much worse thing. Like in the future, he will defeat Aokiji, right? Who's better fit to be Fleet Admiral, but this is talk for another time. So yeah, very strong arc. The admirals are there. A lot of cool characters are there. A lot is on the line actually, but small issues, but not big enough to deter me from giving this arc an S tier. Very strong arc and very emotional too. Yeah. Okay, next on the list is Orange Town, where we get introduced to our boy Buggy. And yeah, I think Nami joins in this arc as well, at least, temporarily, right? Because she didn't join officially until Arlong Park. At least this is how I feel. So yeah, Nami. Nami was cool character at first. She was like this lady that knew how to get herself around. She was very strong woman, right? So she was very cool character to me. But the arc itself, like the plot behind it, I don't know if I really liked it because it didn't feel like we had that much on the line. Buggy felt like a little bit less of a menace than other villains. Well, than the Marine with the Captain Morgan, right? Captain Morgan felt more menacing than Buggy, but I think Buggy is supposed to be this way. Nami was really cool during this arc, and yeah, this is the first time we get to see Zoro, Nami, and Luffy together, so it's very cool. All in all, a little good in this arc is the backstory of the Choo Choo the dog. Buggy, not that menacing, and I don't think it's like the strongest arc, so I think it belongs to the C tier. So next one is PostAnous Lob arc. I believe this is when we have the party and the Garb comes in. He reveals that Dragon is Luffy's father. What else happened during this moment? I think Robin spoke with Aokiji, so he finally would let her go because she found real friends and stuff like this. A little bit more like Lockdown, so it's like informative arc, but it wasn't as impactful as Lockdown, I believe. So I think it deserves like a C tier. Post-war is basically a flashback arc, and if you know me, if you watch One Piece with me, you know that I love flashbacks. Very strong arc. There were some fillers every now and then in this arc, and yeah, Naruto VA is Young Sabo, bro! How awesome is that? You get Luffy and Naruto in one anime, yeah, it's sick. And the story behind that is actually amazing, it's lovely. I love Sabo backstory, like he's this high-end life boy, right? He's living luxurious life, but he chooses to hang out with the poor kids instead, yeah. I love how Ace is the strong character that slowly lets Luffy join the gang, but I don't really like Luffy, how he acts in this arc in particular. He's a little bit too wimpy and too weak, but it adds up how amazing he is right now, how he is, acting right now, and it gives so much of a hit you in the face after we lost Ace, right? So it gives you a little bit more time to reflect on what's happened, that you're never gonna see Ace again. Yeah, this arc hit really hard. It was a little bit dragging because there were episodes where not that many important things happened and I would cut them, but all in all, very solid arc, and I think it deserves an A tier. Next on the list, Reverse Mountain, which is first arc after we crossed the red line and we're in the Grand Line now. Well, what happened in Reverse Mountain? We get introduced to the Crocus, very funny sequence with him on inside the laboon, right? We get introduced to the laboon, which will serve its purpose later on in the thriller bark, right? But all in all, there's Vivi and this wimpy guy, which I think they are not the good villains for this arc. Like, no, they are not. I know this arc is supposed to show us that Vivi has something on the line, right? But I don't think this arc was particularly good. Like, fight with Laboon was fine, and the funny sequence was also fine, but this arc didn't strike me as something epic, like something is on the line. I think we got the log post in here as well, which is cool addition, but I don't think this arc was that strong. It was fine, but it wasn't the greatest, so I think it should belong. No, this doesn't feel right that it's in the B. I think it's in the C. But it doesn't feel right for C right now. I don't think every arc is equal in here. Maybe I'm too harsh on Alabasta and it deserves B tier. Yeah, this feels more right, so I will leave it as that. Next contender is first ever arc, Romance Down. It makes me feel nostalgic, like when I think of the times where I started One Piece, it was like 2 years ago now, I believe. Yo, the time flies by. But yeah, when I think about this, I think about things that were happening in my life when I started One Piece. So it gains a little bit more value to me personally. And this is where One Piece started, right? This is where the journey began. Of course, there are some pacing issues in the early One Piece, but bro, this thing is where One Piece started. This is where everyone once were. Starting One Piece on episode 1, I think the order got switched in manga, like we start with a flashback instead of Luffy fighting Alvida, which would be better to me personally, but it was fine as well, like the way it is in anime. Shanks losing his arm, Shanks' introduction in general, right? Yeah, this was impactful arc, and it's just nostalgic. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I think it deserves an A tier. Next is Sabari. Sabari arc? Oh man, this arc was actually quite long. When I think about what happened, it was really packed. Like, we got the introduction of celestial dragons, and the most satisfying punch in anime history happened. Yeah, a lot happened really. Like, Straw Hats getting sent off one by one, it was very emotional, showing how Luffy weak is in reality. And yeah, the plot of this arc in general, like separate islands, some of them are really dangerous to go, some of them are like theme parks. Very cool setting as well. I didn't talk much about setting, but setting of this island, very cool. And the worst generation, we got introduced to the bunch of cool characters and some lame characters like this guy made of straw. I forgot his name. Hawkins, yeah, Hawkins. He wasn't that fun and he wasn't that amazing of a character. So yeah, but some amazing characters, Law, Kid, Bonnie, who else was there? Urok was cool as well. X Drake, Apu. Apu was really funny, so yeah. And yeah, Pacifistas, how strong they are. And even the Sentomaru, I believe was his name. He didn't use devil fruit, but he was strong too. The realization we are not ready what's to come. We are not ready for the new world. We are too weak. It was very cool arc. And I think it deserves an S tier. And next on the list, oh boy, Skypia. Some of you might not agree with me on that, but I think Skypia is C tier. I think this arc was not good. It was way too long. Pacing was off. It was very confusing with the whole mantra haki thing. The plot behind it with the tribe, the Sharians, I believe. Yeah, not the greatest. I didn't think like the Sharians are strong enough to take down anyone, really. Like anyone at all. Yeah, Viper himself, cool character, but I wish they made him a little bit stronger so he poses a little bit of a more threat than he is in reality. What characters do we get introduced to? Oh, the girl, right? I forgot her name, but the angel girl, she was weird. Her betrayal was like not impactful. And the ball priest fight. The ball priest fights lasted for like 20 episodes or 19, which is way too long for this type of character, especially since we had like Luffy, Usopp, and Sanji in there. So this fight shouldn't have gone this long. I'm sorry, but it's just bad pacing. And Enel fight, really cool. I think the way we countered him was really funny. And yeah, people probably think Enel is weak because of the matchup he got with Luffy, but bro, imagine he fought literally anyone else. And just remember, guys, he destroyed everyone at some point that Nami had to betray us, right? And go with Enel. But bro, this arc was not that cool. The scenery was cool, but the plot itself, it's not really for me. It was boring at the times. Yeah, it was even boring. The police trying to catch us was unnecessary, I think. Yeah, it was unnecessary. And the powers? Oh yeah, the shells, right? The dials. They were fun. They were fun addition for Usopp, so this arc has it going for it. Oh yeah, and the ending when we are gifted the gold, but we steal it instead. It makes me feel like we are actually pirates, so yeah, we have this going for Skypia. Okay, so next in the line is Serup Village, which is the last arc containing flashback of the Straw Hat, at least for the early One Piece ride, before the time skip. This is Usopp's arc, and it has some issues. Like, don't get me wrong, premise of Kuro being this Double Agent Butler is very cool. Like Usopp being the liar, the guy that screams wolves. There is like the story, right? Where the character screams wolves, wolves, and everyone hides, but the wolves never come. And when the wolves actually come, they don't believe him. So it was greatly translated into Usopp's character. I think this was very strong point of the story, but it has same issue as Barati, where some scenes are repeated. In the Barati's case, it's like people screaming Mugiwara, Mugiwara, Mugiwara. In this case, it's Kuro using his attack and random slashes happening. Like, I think one guy, the same guy, died 2 times to this attack because it was looped. It was just looped. Like, it took a lot of episode and the pacing was off. It was strong arc because it is backstory of Usopp, one of my favorite characters in One Piece, so yeah. And I think Usopp at all is a cool character. Like, he's this guy without any powers, without any strength, overcoming everything. So yeah, it was cool to meet him there. And I love that we got our first proper ship going right there. So yeah, I think this was strong arc, but was it as strong as some arcs in A tier? I don't think so. Honestly, I believe it belongs to B tier. So next one is Thrillback, which I think Oda tried to do something different with his arc, different aesthetic, like this grotesque, like almost horror vibes. But I don't think this arc is as strong as some other arcs One Piece has to offer. Like, it's dragging for a long time. The premise of the arc is not that interesting. Like, stealing shadows of the crew members are a little bit weird, like out of place almost. The way that Luffy has to go the shadow mode was very epic, but fighting oars was painfully long, and I think Straw Hats didn't do good job at cooperating that much. I think there could be more cool combo attacks. And yeah, Brook joins here, which is fine, but I think Brook character is not that tied to the Thriller Bark more than his backstory to Laboon, so he's not impacting Thriller Bark as much. Yeah, and honestly, I think this is one of the weakest arc, really. I don't I don't remember anything in particular that caught my attention in the Thriller Bark. Like, when you think Thriller Bark, epic moment, what do you think of? Because me personally, oh man, how could I have forgotten? Nothing happened! Okay, I take back everything that I said. Nothing happened is an S tier moment on its own, but is it enough to carry this arc? I think it could bump it up a little, like, to the B tier. Yeah, to the B tier. Nothing happened. Yo, very cool moment. Oh, and the Brook backstory happened here as well. Oh yeah, we have to put it on the A tier. Like, Brook's backstory was amazing. Like, I cried like baby again, and nothing happened. Such an epic moment. The way that Sanji wanted to volunteer, bro, this was amazing. Very strong moments in this arc. No, I'm fighting with myself because the arc itself wasn't as good, but it has so many good moments. Okay, so let's do it like this. Arc itself is B tier, but let's imagine moments of the arc here in an S tier. Okay, so we're close to finish. This is second to last. Water 7, which was actually very interesting island. Like, how island worked was really interesting to me. I really enjoyed the episodes where we were introduced to how the island works, like the elevators, people trading, everything was top notch. I think this was very strong arc, especially since Frankie starts off as the villain, but in the end, he's a good guy and joins us, yo, so this was very interesting. Luffy versus Usopp fight, this is yet another moment where I cried. Mary's funeral, another moment where I cried, and all in all, this arc was very interesting with how we wanted to buy a new ship, how Usopp left us temporarily, how we got him back in the end. All in all, very strong arc, and every character was lovable, like CP9 are very cool. Robin betraying us was very confusing, but let's be real. Everyone expected that Robin would betray us, but we never expected she would do this like this, right? So it felt really satisfying that she betrayed us, and really satisfying that she had her reasons, right? And yeah, very strong arc, very cool. I would put it in S tier. And last one is Whiskey Peak. This arc was weird. This arc was not only weird but also weak. I think this arc was just not good, like nothing impactful happened. Straw Hats getting drunk was weird. Like there were some cool fruits like Kilo fruit and the Boom Boom fruit. They were cool, but other than that, I don't think anything impactful happened. Like Luffy fought Zoro, but it felt forced and weird. Like why did they fight? It was just a misunderstanding. It wasn't funny, at least to me, so yeah. This was the weakest arc. I think it was even weaker than the Foxy's arc, really. Okay guys, so before we end this video, let's have this segment for fixing the tier list, if I believe some things should get bumped down or bumped up. And I think it's safe to bump down Sabody. I don't think it's an S tier on the par with other arcs that are here. And other than that, I think I'm satisfied with the standings. Maybe I could move Orange Town to the B tier, but I don't think this makes sense. Like, is it on par with Amazon Lily? Maybe I could move Amazon Lily to the A tier because it was cool. Yeah, I think it's more like it. Yeah, this works. Yeah, so this is it. This is my final One Piece pre-timeskip tier list. Let me know in the comments if you would make it differently, what you agree, what you disagree with. And yeah guys, this will be it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe and comment down below your suggestions for the next video. And see you next time. Bye!